Whoever could get into Dune might have to watch the new Dune. I hope you all are doing well. Hoping the next episode, Bad Batch, is really good. Oh, yeah.
You didn't even fucking remember that we talk about Bad Batch. Oh, yeah. That's
oh, yeah. Right. What happened
Let's
again?
talk about it, huh?
I completely forgot what happened. So they met up. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. I actually like this one.
It's called The Return.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed this one. What'd you think?
It seemed to have a real big impact on you. So this, me and Mahler were talking a little bit before we started the stream while you're still setting up, but it was
sleeping.
No, while you were like right after we got in the StreamYard call and you were getting your background fixed up. But these really should be released like 3 episodes at a time, I think. Not too much happens in this one. However, I feel like we're going to look back and the episode we did last week, this episode, and probably the next episode are probably going to have like one pretty nice fucking little arc in it.
Probably.
I think that would be much more satisfying to consume and review than like that.
Probably.
However, this one in isolation, we got what we expected, right? After we saw Hunter and Wrecker and Omega reunite, Crosshair standing by himself. How is this going to be? And you see that Wrecker immediately is accepting of Crosshair. Omega likes her, that's good enough for me. Right? So that's just Wrecker's lot in life. If Omega trusts him, that's good enough for Wrecker. Hunter, not so much. Hunter's holding a grudge, and how are Crosshair and Hunter
may as well be though
gonna work their
but now they're bros again.
Out. Yeah, one little worm, one dune sandworm that was in the snow, and they're back together, bros again.
Yeah. But that's kind of how it works with friends. It's with guys, at least. You fist fight, and then you're like, you're not so bad.
We got Echo back.
Yeah.
Mahler, what did you think about Echo? That's the first time you're seeing Echo.
Awesome. It's funny because of the things I was trying to compliment from the previous episode, kind of fucking just wasted in this one, huh? Like,
yeah,
I was sitting there thinking, like, this is a chance for them to show off what they can do with how 2 characters can reconcile when they clearly don't trust each other. And it's weird how much dialogue is set to establish how much they don't trust each other while simultaneously absolutely trusting each other throughout the whole episode. Like, we can't have, like, can he really have a rifle? It's like, oh, can he really guide this mission? Oh, he didn't reveal to us several aspects of this mission beforehand that he should have. Oh, we got to go do this job. Can we trust that he's going to go out there and do it? Hey, wait. I need to talk to you. Are you going to betray us? Like, all this dialogue, and you're like, why the fuck is he even on the mission with you? You half expect that he's going to kill you all, and you're like, yeah, we'll bring him along, fuck it, and then we'll have our personal differences sorted while we're trying to download all this shit, which I don't even know where to begin. It's probably the worst episode. I'm like, nothing made any fucking sense. I was like, so what's the mission? It's like, we got to get to a base that's abandoned because we need to access the data pad from Nala Se that's going to likely have coordinates to the Tantis base, was it, or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, did they really just tell me they're going to break into an Empire base to read the data pad they had? It's like, why not just fucking get the information from the base?
So what was explained was that it's encrypted.
It's top secret.
And they can't break the encryption without someone like Tech, who's dead, supposedly dead. They lost their Donatello, so they can't.
I have so many follow-up questions.
No, so they can't break the encryption without Tech. So, but it can be read according to Crosshair. You can read a data pad on an Imperial terminal.
Yeah,
right.
Bypasses.
So
I know
there's so many things that are wrong with this. Like, so if we go to let's say us 3, we're bounty hunters, and we're like, we got this pad from Nala Se, who's known to be working on a project that we hope has access on a little data pad that'll give us information for thing. First thing I'd be like is like, why would she have access to all of that on her data pad? That's kind of weird. Like, they wouldn't limit her. And then why would she still have it after it's been stolen and taken from the base? Would it be deactivated by now?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Like, okay, it's probably deactivated now, like a hotel room key.
You can work with that still.
And also, we have to also acknowledge that there's no reason for her to have as much access to everything as she already did.
No,
because,
of course. And
like, literally, her data pad gave her access to all of the entire base, from dog kennels to blood samples.
Yeah.
If one of you guys, as the 3 of us, said, all right, plan, let's go to an abandoned Empire base, we can plug the data pad in, which will bypass the security, and we can access the information on it, I'd be like, are you fucking nuts? Why don't we just go to, like, a droid?
Yeah.
It seems like it would be safer.
It's also silly that like all you have to do is plug it into any terminal, right? Like that doesn't really make any sense either. That all
You
of a sudden
still
it would
should
just be
need like a
unencrypted.
you still should need a freaking passcode or something like that because Mount
Yeah.
Tantus is like the most high level security base in the galaxy. It should be and the most hidden. So it's like, okay.
So I was already
It's just-
struggling with all that, and then they're like, Omega's like, "I'm coming with you," and it's like, "No, you're not. You're a fucking kid. Stop." And then she's like, "I need to," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Like everybody just does whatever Omega says.
Yep.
Like bottom line, that's
It's-
how it works. She's
yeah, that's what
coddled.
annoys me.
I'm
It
just
really annoys
sad
me.
because I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to tell her she can't be doing these things. They have to protect her. She's too important to them as people, right? A lot of guys don't like kids going into war with them, like actual children. Not just because of the fact that they're unreliable in terms of being your comrade and everything, but because you don't want them to go into these dangerous missions. You're like, fuck you, stay home, you little brat. But she's like, no, I'm coming.
Yeah, dude. Literally, I'm just like, can you not get involved all the time? Like, who made her the brains of the whole organization?
Writers. That's how it goes, I guess.
She might as well be the brains for Wrecker. She literally
She is.
she talked Wrecker basically through this big procedure to turn that thing back on. And in my mind, why would you trust Wrecker to let Wrecker run around from a fucking snake? Right? That's like right up Wrecker's territory, just fucking running around pointless, mindless shit. Instead of him being the one that's in charge of rebooting this fucking system, it has to be walked through it like somebody trying to land an airplane, like being talked in from the tower. But Omega did a good enough job.
That's what they do though with him. Like Wrecker is like the typical juice head gym guy that like doesn't have much of a brain.
That's
I agree.
That's literally it's like
that's
what
what
they
I'm
did for his
saying was
character.
like I wouldn't trust Wrecker with that job. Right, where you have to like listen to Omega do a complex series of instructions. to
Yeah.
restart
Oh
the
yeah,
thing.
no, I know.
I would have somebody else do that.
I thought they
Yeah,
were going to do that
that's
joke where he goes to the breaker thing and she's like, restart the whatever. And then he's going to go, which lever is that? And then she's like, the big red one. He goes, okay. Like, just something like that.
Yeah, they made him like a complete idiot. Kind of like what they did with Thor in Love and Thunder.
Yeah. They get to the base, and the first thing they see is like, wow, the base is like electricity is almost out. A lot of it's been drained by the like outer perimeter defense. And they're like, oh, just turn that off. I was like, turn it off? You don't even know why it's up. Like, what do you think there's a reason that exists? Why would you just turn that off?
It's not like it was a big problem. That was the thing for me. It wasn't a big problem when they got there. Like they were able to land. Literally all they're going to do is fucking stick a data pad in a fucking terminal. It's like why is all this other shit happening?
And once everything shit hits the fan, they establish a new way for the power to be reestablished. I was like, oh, pity that wasn't something you did straight away, I guess, because then that would just make the whole drama stop. And then it was equally funny where they're like, all right, so we need, right? This is the plan. One of us needs to get to the fuse box, which is dangerously out there, reset it, come back. But then we also need to lure the worm outside of the perimeter, restart the perimeter, so that'll allow us to leave. And it's like, So all those moves, you're going to be risking getting killed by the worm, right? It's like, yes. So why not just leave?
You don't got to think about it too much.
I figured. The only response to that could be like, well, I mean, it could be dangerous, right? Because the worm might get him. It's like, that's what they do it anyway, so...
Were they still waiting to download anything by the time they were doing all the power shit?
No, I'm pretty sure they were all good. As far as I know, they were all good to go. Remember, because they read about like a manifesto of like all the different... That was another thing. The only information they could get was that there were more clones on Tantus. And it's like, okay, do we have coordinates? No. Any information about the building? No.
No, but
okay.
Thanks to you, Omega, we're closer now than we were before.
I did like that, yeah. Thanks to what you said, what Crosshair said of this data pad, I'm sure we're going to find it.
You did all you could. You got out of there, kid.
God, I love this show.
And so, yeah, I was waiting for, like, is there going to be anything meaningful in the whole episode? And then they did the little thing at the end of, like, man, I did some things in my past. And then Hunter's like, we've all done stuff, man. It's just about, moving forward. Like, yeah, man.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
No.
That was like the whole trope of Star Wars, don't you think?
No, what makes that beautiful... We never, like, give this kind of award to simple ideas, right? Remember, TLJ is about a lot of what you could call beautiful ideas. Like,
Sure.
Don't let your failure define your whole life. But we don't celebrate it because that's its idea. We don't celebrate. We talk about what it did to represent that idea. And, like, kill the past. People are like, that's not the message of the movie. That's just the message of the bad guy. And it's like, well, then why does it kill the past throughout the whole movie?
Yeah, literally, yeah.
So... their conversation, it feels like it was built on nothing but them arguing with each other about how much they don't like each other, Hunter establishing how much he does not trust Crosshair for good reason, and then at the end it's like, well, that was a tough worm that we killed together, that you're more than potentially motivated. By the way, he establishes at one point there's a good chance that Crosshair's lied to them, like for good reason lied to them, get them in trouble / betray them. There's every reason he could betray them to the Empire. They have no reason to think otherwise.
Yeah.
And they could still be doing that. Leading them to Tantus could be a trap. They have no idea. And yet, at the end, he's like, yeah, man. Yeah, we're friends again. It's like, what the fuck? No.
Yeah.
And the thing was, Hunter was like the only one that really had any reservations. I guess we didn't really get to delve into how Echo felt about it. But
I just don't think he gives a shit. He's too machine.
Wrecker didn't give a fuck. Whatever Omega says goes. Fucking Wrecker's good with that.
Yeah.
And then, so Hunter's the only one who's sitting there questioning these things, and it did not do enough to probably satisfy the suspicions he should have had. But it goes right in line, I guess, with everything else we've seen from this team, which is they're not that smart.
I think it was the worst to have Hunter be the one to tell Crosshair that what you've done in the past doesn't matter anymore, because I've also done things, when he spent the whole episode and past season being the main one to judge him for his past actions. Like, it feels like we need a bigger and stronger and more substantive set of events to push Hunter into that position, to be like, you know what, actually our past is our past, and we need to move on. Not just a fucking worm attacked us and we ran away. Like, that that's nothing for me. Like, you got to get more than that.
Well, I think, the whole point of the show is just like, it's kind of childish in a sense, where there's that childish innocence where it's like, forgive and forget, and
don't we have enough of that from Omega?
get burned and then do it again and get burned again. And
well, I imagine that's part of what draws me to Crosshair the most out of every character, is because he seems to be like closest to a realist out of everybody. Everyone else is like on goofy clown land, but he sometimes says things where I'm like, hey, that's true. But at this point, I have a feeling that the show thinks of him as kind of like the idiot pessimist who will learn as the episodes go on to be nicer.
Yeah, Crosshair's the only real person in this. But you're meant to think but you're meant to want him to change.
Yeah.
Even though he's the one that everyone else should be striving to be. To be honest,
I like Crosshair, dude. He's good.
Why is there Crosshair on both his face and his helmet?
Because he's Crosshair.